favorite music teacher. Happy World Music Wednesday. Let's get started. Hello. Okie dokie, where on earth are we traveling today? Well, if you look behind me, there's some clues. Look right over there. We're going to Chile today, so let's get traveling. Okie dokie. So it is World Music Wednesday, and we are going to be traveling to Chile today, and we're going to learn about the traditional music of Chile. So, as always, we probably need to figure out where Chile is. It's right over here. So, Chile is located in South America. So, we live up here, and Chile is this well, it's not little, this long red line. So Chile is a very skinny and long country in South America. Just like when we were learning about Egypt, which is in Africa, we learned that there are a bunch of different countries in Africa, but Africa is the continent. Well, South America is the continent, and Chile is the country. So just like how there are all these different countries in Africa, and we said it's sort of like how many states we have in America. America's the country, but we have a bunch of different states. So Chile is the country, just like it's part of all of these other countries to make South America. Okay, so it's there. It is really long. It is actually 2,653 miles from the top to the bottom, and it is about I think the narrowest part of Chile is about 40 miles wide. That is not a lot of miles. That is almost from here to Boone. I think from here to Boone is about 30 miles. So it's very narrow. We're going to learn about who influenced the music. Well, Spain helped influence because South America was once colonized, which means another country comes to a new country and brings people over and colonizes them. Just like we were the colonies of England, South America was colonies of Spain. So let's take a look. So they came all the way across the world to colonize Chile. So Spain is the orange country. It's located in Europe, and they came all the way across the ocean to the green country, which is Chile. With them, just like we had slaves from Africa here during that time in our history, the Spanish also brought slaves from Africa to Spain. So there is Spanish influence in their music, and there's also African influence in their music. And then lastly, the Andes Mountains. So these are not a people. The mountains are a landform, and they run up and down the west coast of South America, all the way into the top of Chile. So what happens, you're like, how on earth does a mountain range influence the music? Well, mountains are barriers. It's hard to go over a mountain. Think about it. It's hard to go over a mountain. It takes us forever to get anywhere here because you have to do what we call mountain miles. So what happens is a culture is on one side of the mountain, and then the mountain acts sort of like a door. And it lets people in and out, but not so much. So all these people that are on the other side of the door, like in the house, they build their own culture and everything, and then they're influenced by the door. If that makes any sense. I hope it does. Okay, let's learn about where the traditions came from. So the Mapuche people are the native people of Chile. Just like we have the Native Americans or indigenous people of North America, the Mapuche people are the native people of Chile. So they brought traditions, they created traditions, and those can be found in the music we're going to learn about today. Also, just like with most of the other countries we've talked about, religion plays a lot of a really important role in their development of traditions. So the music we're going to learn about today was originally used for religious purposes. So we're going to learn about some of the instruments they use in the Mapuche people use. Okay. So this is the kultrun, and it is basically a drum with a round bottom that is covered with the head. And you know, before we had plastic and all this technology, it was used as animal skin. So that's the kultrun. Then we have the casavilla, and these are bells. So sort of like the jingle bells we have in the classroom that have the Velcro strap. That's sort of what these are like. They're held in your hands and you ring them. I think these make a higher pitch sound than the jingle bells we have at school. Okay. The torompe. This is also known as the Jewish harp. So it's small and you play it in your mouth. So the narrow part here is the part that goes in your mouth. I'm not entirely sure how this works, but it's basically a mouth harp. And then last but not least, we have the trutruka, and that is a horn. So if you look here, this part and this part are made of ram, like the ram horns, basically, because in we've talked about the Andes Mountains. There are a lot. The people that live there, they how they make a living is they raise sheep. So you've got a ram's horn, and remember, before technology, they had to use what they had. So that's what they blow into it, and then it's curled, and that's fabric that is wound to make a tube, and then it's wrapped around and they blow it. So those are the where the traditions of the traditional music of Chile started, the Mapuche people, and these are the instruments that they used. Well, let's learn a little bit about their folk music. So it's mainly based around the charang, that's not the right word, cueca, there we go, cueca. It is based around the cueca, which is it became the national dance of Chile in 1979. So the instruments we're going to learn about today are used for the cueca, or cueca, sorry, cueca. I'm trying my best. So the first one we're going to learn about is the zampuna, and it is basically just like a pan flute. So it's all these different tubes are put together, and then you blow on them. They're different lengths. So what does it mean if all of them are different lengths? What's going to happen when you blow into them? Is a long one and a short one going to sound the same? No, they're not. The long one is going to sound much lower, and the short one is going to sound much higher because science. So it's basically a pan flute. Our next one is the quena, and this one is a flute, and this one's also a type of flute. Sort of reminds me of a recorder, and the people of that live in the Andes Mountains, the ones that raise the sheep, they traditionally play this instrument. So you just blow into it, and you hold, you cover it with your fingers, sort of like a recorder. Charang. The next one is the charango. And you're like, Miss Sullivan, that is totally a guitar. Wrong, it's not a guitar. If you look at it, It has the neck of the guitar, the part where all the strings are, is pretty thick and pretty big compared to the body of the guitar of it. So with a guitar, the neck is really narrow and the body is really big. So you get a completely different sound. This is more like a ukulele than a guitar. And then there's some other instruments, the guitar, and then the instruments of military origin, and that comes from from Spain. Remember the people that came and brought a bunch of stuff and colonized Chile and South America. They brought with them their army or not their army, their military. And with the military, they had bands. So they brought brass drums and trumpets and tubas. So it's a really interesting combination of all these different instruments that make this music. Well, the music is still performed today. And isn't that pretty? Those are the Andes Mountains, just so you know. If you look, they're the Andes Mountains. So who performs this music today? Well, I have found a website with some of the people that perform the music, and I'm going to put the link underneath this video on my website so that you can go learn about these people. These two, Violeta Pera and Victor Jara, I think it's Jara, yeah. They are the most famous two of all the other ones. So, okie dokie. Well, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Chile and about all the instruments and the traditional music of Chile. A lot of it has to do with religion or dance. So, I hope you have fun. I will see you next time. Bye.